Tandem Nomads, episode 274.
We will see how we can unlock our potential thanks to a great tool that is called Brain Gym.
Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and resources to grow a successful portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life, as well as build a business that is aligned with your lifestyle. This is your host, Emel Deregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. One of the most important things to acquire to grow a successful business is the right mindset to grow. And I've been working with a lot of clients over this past years. And I can tell you that although I do a lot of work on the marketing aspects and the business aspects, mindset always is there along the way. And when some of the issues come up, it's often something related to how we perceive things. And for that reason, I wanted to bring to you today a great guest who's going to help you learn one of the techniques you can yourself, and also with the help of the experts when needed, to analyze what are the mindset locks that you might have and what you can do about it. So I'm excited to bring to you Florence. Florence, are you ready for this ride?
I am ready and I'm so excited. Thank you, Amel.
My pleasure. Nomad Nation, Florence Chabert is a woman with quite a story to tell as an adult TCK, raising herself 3 TCKs. Her very unique story as an international adoptee leads her to become an international trainer and international parent expert. She also lived the reality of expatriation as a young adult in the US, Switzerland, Australia, and then as a chief family officer in the Middle East and Europe. With her background and experience, she wanted children, parents to feel a sense of pride and cohesion in their multiple identities, but also in succeeding their expat adventure. And 10 years ago, she created Coach for Expat, helping expats to adjust to their new life in a host country thanks to Brain Gym. And she'll tell us today what is that. Also, Florence is the author of I'm a Citizen of the World, her first book for parents and children to guide them in achieving their journey and create their own family culture. So, Florence, you've got quite an amazing background, and I would love to spend hours taking us through your journey. But could you tell us a little bit in short word about your background and what led you to start the business that you have now?
Definitely. As you know, when we start our expat life, we don't know where we're going to end up. So having moved for 8 countries, I think now, we have to reinvent ourselves. And that's why I really wanted to be able to work in each country I will be living in. So I created Coach for Expat, which allows me to work everywhere and to be a digital nomad. But it doesn't come with some challenges, as you know, Amel. So I try to find some tips and tricks that I will share with you.
I can't wait. You got to learn about Brain Gym how?
So first of all, because some of the moves sometimes are easier than other, I found out that it was very tricky for my family. So I went into Brain Gym, first of all, for my daughter. And after I used it for me. And during the pandemic, I decided that it was such a great tool that I wanted to add in my toolbox as an entrepreneur, but also, as you mentioned, as a chief family officer. So I went back to school and I did my training to become a Brain Gym practitioner for the past 2 years.
Wow. All right. So, Nomad Nation, Brain Gym is the tool that we're going to focus on today in terms of mindset. One of the ways that you can work through some of the limiting beliefs that you might have, or some of the obstacles as well that you have along the journey in your business. Know that this tool can be something that helps you analyze the obstacles, but also how is your brain processing those obstacles. I'm trying to summarize it in just a few words. But first of all, would you agree with that? And second, how would you define the Brain Gym?
I would define the Brain Gym like we have to learn through movement. So we are moving from one country to the other. We are also moving our job from one country to the other. So it just helps you reinvent yourself and learn through movement. I think this is really the key, how we can help our brain and our body to be balanced wherever we are. And the beauty of Brain Gym, as we know, sometimes for entrepreneur, when we start, we have like a tight budget. But the beauty of it is that it's completely free. and you can use it wherever you are and whenever you want, and you will have immediate results.
Okay. So take us through the steps of how this works.
What we do with Brain Gym is we found an objective that we want to reach.
Mhm.
And even if it's difficult, like as you mentioned, if we are like in a fixed mindset, it's a bit like, when you are in front of the fridge and you don't know what to cook, right? And so thanks to Brain Gym, we will be able to do some movements that help us go to the growth mindset. So I really always do the analogy of the growth mindset being like, okay, I found the ingredients I want to cook, so I put them on the table. And once I have all of those ingredients on the table, I really want to go to the benefit mindset. And this benefit mindset was created by Ash Buchanan, so it's not from me, but I really use it to make sure that people will use the burger. And the burger metaphor helps to know your values and to know that you how you want to create your business. So the burger metaphor, basically, it's to make sure that in the burger you put all the values and the ingredients that resonate, because our goal as entrepreneur, it's really to do something that we like, so we will be more efficient and effective.
Okay. So can you tell me first, what is the burger? So that maybe we understand better that.
So the burger, it's really to remember that who you are, the value is the bread. Okay, so this will never change. And when we change brand, when we change content, when we change country, our values evolve. Okay, so it's to understand that we are not losing anything, but we are adding more and more values and more ingredients to our burger to become a more juicy burger and to unlock our potential.
Okay. So basically, if I understand well, what you're saying is that for the Brain Gym to work well from the start, it's important to be very clear about our values and what is important to us and align our values with what and who we want to be.
Exactly, because I believe, and I hope you believe the same, this is the most important when you create your business.
I agree, for sure. So is there any ways to clarify that you can, like any quick exercise or tip you have to help people identify their values and what is important to them?
So what is important in order to find your values, it's to see how your wheel of life is moving. I think this episode is all about movement. So let's see what are your values and how you can fill up the wheel of life. Just choose 8 of the most relevant categories in your life. And after, you can just like pin in where you feel between 1 to 10. And after, you just link all of the dots and let's see how your wheel is moving. And this will help you know where are your values and what are the values that you need to really show and what is important for you in order to make sure you can reach your goal easily.
I love it. And that wheel of life is in the document that you prepared for us in the show notes of this episode. And if I just had to summarize a little bit and highlight one thing that I'm understanding when I hear this is when you say choose 8 areas of your life that are important to you, that's actually the values, right? The values is the areas of our life that are important to us. That's what you call values.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
So I think it's really important to know how is your learning curve. How do you learn and how you are the most effective, and to make sure that the challenges that you might have can be overcome. So one of the exercises is if you actually draw infinity 8, this will help your right hemisphere and your left hemisphere of your brain to connect with each other. And this will help you to be more effective. So you take your right hand and you take a piece of paper and you draw a straight line. And at the center of this line, you will start to build your infinity 8. So you do infinity 8 and you do it 3 times, because the brain always needs to have 3 times the exercise to be able to embody it. After, you will do the same exercise with your left hand. Okay, so 3 times you draw your infinity 8. And then you will take both hands on your pen and you will draw also 3 times your infinity 8. And this will help, without knowing it, your brain to balance.
Okay, so Nomad Nation, we have this infinity drawing that's in the show notes of this episode. Florence has prepared for you a PDF document with explaining some of the important things to know about the process of brain gym. So you will find it in the show notes of this episode on tandemnomads.com/274. So let's imagine I'm on a session with you and that I'm struggling to create consistent content and I hate it. So could you take me through the steps?
Of course. So the first thing is, what is your goal? And how do you want your content to be delivered?
So let's say my goal is to attract my ideal client and get them to see me as the go-to expert in my field.
Perfect. So that's a great goal. It's a tricky one, but it's a great goal. So what we'll do is that once we have this goal, we'll do a balance. A balance is to make sure that this is the right goal for you. So we will see how your body responds to this goal. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we will see that. And of course, we will see if your goal is clear, is energizing, is active, and is positive. Okay, because sometimes we have a goal, but it's not really the one that we actually announce. Because maybe your goal will be like, I want to do this, but I'm afraid, or I don't have time, or I'm stressed. So the first thing, as you mentioned, it's the same as you asked me about the values. We see what is the real goal behind your goal, if it makes sense. Mm-hmm. So if it is because you find it's too time consuming, we will do a brain gym exercise to make sure that you are able to find the right pace to be able to build all of your content. So once we have this, once we know that you want to organize yourself better, we have a brain gym movement for organization. So each and every goal, we see if it's organization, communication, comprehension, and we have a movement linked to this.
Oh, okay. So this one big thing that's a bit difficult in a podcast episode to explain is that it is a physical movement. So explain to us why and then I'll go back to this process of an example of content creation, for example, which is a mindset lock that a lot of people have. But why is it that movement is so important in this process?
Because we need to move to get our energy going, and we need to move to learn better. So for example, when you sit at your desk and you just don't know what to do for your content, this happens to everyone. Maybe you can try to have office that, can go down and can go up. So you can be standing once you want to find your inspiration. We need to move. If sometimes you are blocked, just go and have a walk and you can come back. It's just for you to understand that when things are getting harder, movement can help you to balance your body and mind.
This is so good. And I think no matter what, having this key takeaway is important, because I realize very often when we're stuck with a problem in our life, the automatic mind and body behavior is to lock ourselves and to actually physically be stuck. And we can see it often, the image is to have a face in our hands or to close up, when actually maybe that's the first thing that would invite the listeners, no matter if we use brain gym or not, is whenever we're stuck, to proactively do something physically to get out of that place where we're stuck physically.
It's exactly this. It's really how to learn through play. So you learn through play, and once you play, your body and your mind are working with your flow, and this will really help you to be more efficient.
Okay. So now let's imagine we're using the brain gym for specific movements. Is there an example of a movement, although it's audio here with the podcast, but if you could give an example and describe an example of a movement to do in that way, and for that goal, for example?
Definitely. So the Infinity 8 will be a good one, because the Infinity 8 will help you know how you memorize things. So if you have an auditive, if you are visual, if you are kinesthetic, it really helps you to evolve your learning flow. We also have to remember that when we have a business, it's all continuous movement and it's a continuous journey of learning. So once we have, for example, this Infinity 8, this will help you know where you are the most effective, because sometimes we don't know that we have a visual memory, for example.
Okay. So we have this Infinity 8 with a learning flow in this PDF. So can you explain me a bit more how to use it, this Infinity 8 that's in this document, for example?
So this Infinity 8 on the document will have some words, and you need to see what are the words that resonate with you. And this will actually see and show you in which state of mind you are. So of course, you will be like lost in thoughts. You will be like, don't have inspiration. You will be stressed. This is completely normal because you are getting it. So once we are getting it, we are in the state of mind of a fixed mindset. So it's very difficult to go on Canva, for example, and to know which template to take, which word to write. And this is normal. So what we do is we do one of the brain gym movement, which is, it can be breathing, it can be another one, it's to use the positive points that we have on our face that you can massage. There are so many movements, 26 movements to do. And once you do those movements, it will help your brain shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
Okay. So we need to get to learn those movements to get there. So once we get to understand where we are in terms of fixed mindset, the current, how do we shift then to the growth mindset?
So we shift them by using one of the 26 movements that are linked with your goal. Mm-hmm. So basically, as I mentioned, if you have like communication, which is creating content, we will have one movement that can be the positive point, that can be breathing, that can be so many of them. It's tricky on a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. We really have to experience those movements to know how you have to feel it, basically. You know, when you just said that we were stuck, sometimes we have our shoulders that are very tense and we just like cannot move. It's really to experience the movement, to see how our body responds and how after our mind just gets more balanced and where you can get the inspiration.
Okay. So what is it in general you think that people need to understand or know for the brain gym to really work?
I think if we want to pretend that our brain is a house, okay, and so our brain has upstairs and downstairs, okay, and if we say that the upstairs is where we have our thinking brain and downstairs is where we have our feeling brain. So the upstairs brain, it really helps you to understand those emotions that we've seen through the learning flow that you will have in the Entendre Nomad show notes. It really also helps with focus, concentration, and also to make the right decision. After, we have the downstairs brain. So the downstairs brain helps you to feel all kinds of emotion. So it can be stress, it can be anger, it can also be joy. And it's where we actually have this awareness of potential dangers. So what happens is when our feeling brain takes over, the thinking brain really shuts down. And that's when we don't know what to create. We don't know how people are going to react to our content. We don't know where we're going to find the time to do all of those contents and to share them and to, schedule them to be out there. Mm-hmm. So when we are in the downstairs brain, it's in charge, it's very, very difficult to learn, to remember, and to think things through. So the goal with Brain Gym is to help have this balance and to get back this balance. And so that's when we recognize the body signs that show that the feeling brain has taken over. And so we use Brain Gym, we use those movements to calm down, to get the inspiration, so our thinking brain can turn back on.
Okay. So for me, if I try to summarize what I understand, for me, it's a lot about awareness. Often when we are stuck with with a problem in our life, be it in business or, for example, we talked about content here, we often get stuck, but don't really realize that what's leading us to inaction is actually the series of thoughts and emotions that are actually stopping us from seeing the solutions that we have in front of us.
Definitely. It happens to each and every one. That's the good news.
Yeah. Yes. And I think just by simply being aware that whenever we're stuck and feel frustrated or sad or stressed or angry, those are emotions stopping us from understanding that this problem can be solvable and how. So instead, in order to get out of it, I think having those movements is what will help them get a bit more clarity, but also release all those emotions that are fogging the way to the solution.
Exactly. It's really to train your brain every day to be happy in your job and to be more effective.
Okay, very interesting. So I think it would be great if you could explain a little more about how you work with your clients, because this is such a new concept, the brain gym, that it's not new actually, but very few people know about it. Can you give us the history of brain gym just for those who don't know about it at all, or this is new for them?
Definitely. So it was created by Paul Dennison in the US in the 80s. Brain gym. It was created really to help people learn, memorize, and also to make sure that they understand how their body could react with their mind and how to find the right balance. So they took those movements from yoga, from breathing, from sophrology, and they put it all together. And after, they really linked each and every movement to communication goal, comprehension goal, and organizational goal.
Amazing. This is so interesting. So you got into this how?
I went there because I found out that it really helped my children. So I started with my family as guinea pigs, I would say. And after, I found out it was very useful also in my daily life. Like if you want to pitch, if you want to talk to a conference, if you want to also help your clients. And when I saw the beauty of it, I said, I really, really need to incorporate those movements into my trainings. So once we have the goals that we just set, once we have the brain gym, after we will have a pre-activity and post-activity. So you can see right away what are the change. So for example, if you are stuck in front of your computer, you don't know what to write. So the goal is to find inspiration. So your clients will find you. Once you have this, we do this pre-activity that can be simply to do one of the movements, or it can just be simply to look outside the window. Okay. We do a brain gym exercise, and after that, or balance, and after that, you will see the difference. Maybe looking at the window, you will see the bird that is there. You would see like the cloud that is there that you wouldn't have seen before. So it opens and it balances your both hemisphere. And once we do that, I give some homework, which are like play tips that the people can do whenever they feel stressed about creating content, for example. So it's an ongoing process of learning through movement.
All right. So is this something that once they do one session with you, then they can reuse the same method? Or is it that every time there's a problem, it's good to have that person come in to guide you through it?
It's really both. The goal of Brain Gym is that you have the knowledge after a few sessions to understand what are the movements that you can use depending on your goal. And once you know which movement to do, then you're just like free to go and you will see the change.
Amazing. This is so amazing. So thanks for introducing us to the Brain Gym. Can you tell us what's the best place to find you and know more about you and how we could use your support to practice the Brain Gym?
You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. And we can, as we just seen, it's quite tricky to explain. But I think it's such an amazing tool. But really, really reach out, because we have to experience it to see how it works, because it's really in our heart and in our body that we can really see the difference.
I love
So
that.
please reach out. It doesn't take long. And once you have the right movement, you can use them whenever you want and wherever you are.
And how long does it take when you say it doesn't take long?
It takes between 20 to 30 minutes to do a balance.
Wow.
From your goal to the homework.
That's super cool. I love it. So thank you so much for sharing your great experience with this and opening us to this concept of the brain gym. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
No, thank you so much. I hope it will really help each and everyone, because we always have challenges. And I think the main message would be that we have tools. And I found that Brain Gym was really a great tool to overcome our challenges when we are entrepreneurs.
I love it. Thank you so much. And for me, my biggest learning, my biggest aha, on top of inviting all of us to maybe practice and try the Brain Gym, what I realized through this is how important it is to observe our body language when we go through a blockage, when we go through a spiral of challenges, or when we have a problem to solve, is to actually change something. And if we can't change what's happening in the brain, let's start with the body so that the brain can, in other areas of like NLP, we talk about distracting the attention or putting the attention of our brain, our subconscious, so distracting our subconscious from this area so that we can leave some space for the solution to come to us. And body movement, it seems to be really actually more powerful than I even thought before.
It is. And I hope, you can use it, because don't stay behind your computer stuck. Please just go and have a walk, have a brain gym movement, and you will see it's really, it's magic.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your great experience with this and your enthusiasm for it. It's been great to have you here.
Thank you, Amel. No, and please keep moving.
Oh, yes. I love that. Keep moving. So, Nomad Nation, I hope that this episode has invited you to look at your mindset locks and your challenges or obstacles along the way in the growth journey of your business as maybe another way to look at it. Whenever you're stuck, get unstuck, but moving. So you'll find all the resources and the information of Florence in the show notes of this episode. Go to tandemnomads.com/274. And I can't wait to meet you in the next episode. Stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.